Okay, I need you to understand how much hair is on my head right now. I haven't gotten a haircut during COVID times because I am trying to minimize the amount of time I spend in public spaces unless it's necessary. So in October, I completely shaved my head down to and this is what's happened since October. It's been like 3 months, 4 months? When was October? In the past. I know that much. Okay, so today, what did I want to talk about? Well, I wanted to address one of the most common questions I get, especially for people that have been fans of my music for a long time. One thing that a lot of people want to know, and it's a question I get pretty consistently, is why did I change my name from Evoke to just using my name, Alden Groves? And it was a big decision. It wasn't one that I just kind of made lightly. It was a big choice. And there was a lot of reasoning behind it. So I wanted to hopefully clear that up for anybody that is still feeling like they're in the dark about that, or that really liked the Evoke project and is like, I really liked that, I really resonated with that. I don't understand why you had to walk away from that or why you chose to walk away from that. So hopefully I can just provide a little bit of context. So I want to preface this video in particular by saying that nothing that I'm about to say is meant to disparage anybody that I've worked with, any of the songs that I've worked on in the past, any of the experiences I've had. It's just that sometimes the way the cookie crumbles is such that things don't work out how you want or expect them to. And that is just a fact of life. It is the nature of the world. I am not upset about anything that I'm about to say. It's all right. I was just recording my videos. I was recording my videos more or less in the dark like a doofus, so hopefully now you can actually see my eyes. Yes. I am not trying to put anybody down, least of all myself. I don't want to give the impression that I'm unhappy with my past work or unhappy with other people because of the nature of what I'm about to talk about. So if that is at any point your takeaway from this, your takeaway is wrong. You're wrong. So don't be. Why am I not Evoke anymore? Well, just before I released Fool Savior, actually Fool Savior was meant to be an Evoke album. That was how I had the art drafted up. The guy who did the art, Amir Zand, did an incredible job. The original art had the old logo on it. Not this one, but the other one that I had. I had planned it as an Evoke album. I think it is consistent with what I was doing right before I switched my name. I don't feel like it was a huge pivot, but my frustration and my concern and the things that I was trying to balance in my head was, what is going to be the best move for my career, or really just people finding my music in the long term? If you go to the Evoke Spotify, the first 3 tracks are all songs that I did with Laura Brem. And then I think it's a remix, and then I think it's one of my original songs, and then I think it's another remix. Almost none of the Evoke songs that I was putting out were visible on my Spotify page, right? And I kept having this interaction where I would interact with someone and I would say, oh, I just put a new song out. And they'd be like, oh, where can I find your music? And I'd be like, oh, it's on, anywhere that you want, Spotify, SoundCloud, whatever. And they would go to Spotify, and the first 6 songs, the whole block was taken up by music that is not really the sound that I'm trying to push now. I think that even though I really like the Future Holds stuff, I don't think anyone can argue that it is distinctly very different than Fool Savior. And it's certainly very different from what I'm about to start releasing now. And that's okay in some respects. And also, I wanted to get to this point where I could show people my music, and whenever they looked me up, they would find my music. So if you go to the Alden Groves Spotify now, what you see is Vertigo, a bunch of other tracks from Fool Savior, and some of the stuff from Reality Check. And I feel good about that. I'm always happy to tell someone to look up my music because they look it up and they find stuff not only that I believe in, but that I feel is representative of what I'm trying to do as an artist. I had to do this mental math of, okay, is it more advantageous for me to build off of the relative success that I've had with Evoke? Obviously, the songs with Laura and a couple other tracks have done pretty well. The track with Pusher did really well. I had success with a lot of smaller YouTube channels uploading certain songs of mine, singles, Evoke songs, not remixes, not collaborations. Or, on the other hand, do I start something new and have the option of completely building it from the ground up to be exclusively the kind of sound that I want people to associate with what I'm doing? And I sat with it for a long time. It's not an easy question. It's an identity, right? And I had been Evoke for so long, and granted, especially some of the people that have known me since early Evoke, it's well, you already pivoted from one sound to another. Why is this so different? Because the old Evoke, pre-neuropop stuff, was bass music. Sound design focused, snares as loud as you can get them, push it into the limiter, break the world, break the world ass music. You know, pivoting from that to what I was doing with my solo work at the end of that, where it was like, yes, still a very electronic focus, but also lyricism, also a heavy focus on songwriting. That was already a big change. The difference was, and it's ironic, right? Because you would think that success is an incredible thing, and it is, but in some sense, the tracks with Laura Brem doing so well made it very hard for me to do anything else. When I get into the studio, I don't make stuff that sounds like that. Again, that's not a knock against it. It's just not what I do when I'm in the studio. And so if you look at it from that perspective, right, of like, this is what you're known for now as Evoke. I think Future Holds has like 1 million plays on Spotify, and I have no reason to expect that any of my solo work is going to top that anytime soon. So the decision that I came to ultimately was, okay, this is different enough that I actually need to build from the ground up. I need to start over, and it's gonna suck because songs are only gonna get 80 plays or whatever, where I have no doubt that if I'd released Fool Savior as Evoke, it probably would have gotten more plays total, but it would still, I think even Vertigo, which has like 25,000 plays on Spotify, even that would be buried underneath collaborations and remixes and everything that are not what I'm trying to show people right now. So now I'm in a situation with Alden Groves where I say, oh, you can find me, it's Alden Groves, you just find it on Spotify. You find me, and the first track is Vertigo, which is a track that I really like that track. I'm proud of that track. It's representative of what I'm trying to do. It is much more in line with the sound of Fool Savior than something like Future Holds is. And all the other tracks are tracks I believe in too. It's not remixes that aren't relevant to what I'm trying to do. It's not collaborations that aren't a sound that tends to come out when I'm in the studio. It's all stuff where it's like, this is coherent and cohesive. Even though I love the Evoke project, that was the math that I ultimately had to do. It is more important for the project of Alden Groves to be coherent and cohesive than it is for me to get more plays total. So I took a pretty big hit for that. I probably confused a lot of people. I imagine there are still people that don't know that I'm the same person. I definitely know on my mailing list, for example, a bunch of people unsubscribed because they were like, I don't know who you are. Those people had signed up through Bandcamp to be on the Evoke mailing list. And so they get an email from Alden Groves and they're like, I didn't sign up for this. This is spam. Boom. That was what I had to do. There was definitely a time where I felt unsure about it, and that time has passed. I definitely now feel like it was the right choice. I feel good about sending people to my page. I feel good about releasing new projects with this alias. I feel good about the state of the channel and that there is a nice cohesion between this channel is obviously just me talking about my thoughts and experiences, and the music is also just me conveying my thoughts and emotions and experiences. I feel like there's a nice cohesion there. It makes a lot more sense overall, and I think that even people who like the Evoke project would probably agree that it just makes more sense with the focus that I'm trying to bring to like YouTube and lyricism and songwriting. It just makes more sense. So another related question to what we're talking about is, am I going to release more Evoke music in the future? The answer that I've given to that is, if I ever make anything that I think resonates more with the sound that Evoke was most successful with, I will release it as Evoke. Whether that's full-on crazy bass music.
Break the world.
There's a plane. I actually really like the sound of planes passing. Maybe that's weird, but there's something about it that's almost musical and soothing. Like it's just this very soft sine wave ramp up, and then, I don't know, I like it. So if I ever am in a situation where I feel like, okay, I'm making this all-out bass music, or I'm making this sort of folktronica type sound thing that's more relevant to the Laura Brem stuff, it might make sense to release that as Evoke. Or if I'm making something that is in line with kind of modern contemporary EDM type stuff, then I might do it. But for now, I'm gonna chase the artistic passion that most moves me. And I appreciate everybody who has supported me with that. It actually is incredible. It's easy to get jaded, especially when I have seen things that are like, oh, Future Holds has 1 million plays. That's great. And I also think it makes one jaded to something like, my video from yesterday got 150 views in a day. And that's a lot of people. Like 100 people's a lot. I don't know 100 people. I am just so grateful for everyone that has supported me and showed up, and all of the comments in the last video were really inspiring and motivating, and I'm just feeling really supported right now. So I appreciate y'all so much. It actually means the world to me that there are people, especially those of you that even understand this question of like, who's Evoke? I saw some comments, I think it was Marshall yesterday, was like, oh, I've been following you since early Evoke, and I've always really liked your songwriting. And it's like, that's actually what makes it worth it. That's actually what makes it worth it. Anytime I get a message or a comment of support or expressing that like, no, your music actually did help me when I needed it. It's like, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing it. You know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell. I want to reiterate that I don't have a set schedule, and so it helps me a ton if you comment, because that feeds the algorithm, and I'm already at a disadvantage because I am not going to be able to maintain a consistent, steady stream of productivity, which is what the algorithm likes. So if you want to help me fight the robots, please comment. Let me know what you thought. Let me know your perspective. I appreciate you all, and I will see you in the next one.